Get ready to uncover how schools manipulate students' thoughts, stifle their potential, and how politicians steal money in the future of America from kids. Welcome to the JB Sills Show.
Alright, before you get into this video, before you watch it, and make sure you watch the whole thing, it's a good one. Little disclaimer here, we are going to be switching from 2 videos a week to 1 higher quality video a week, because that's kind of just what we felt we had to do, and we're going to be stopping the PowerPoints on YouTube, and instead we're going to be doing a little something that's going to make the videos a little higher quality. So I think that's it. Enjoy the video. And we're back. Welcome back to the JB Sills Show. Welcome to the JB Sills Show, whatever it is. I'm having a pretty good day because the school year is almost over, and we just hit 100 subscribers.
Yay! On to a billion.
That's right. Yes. We have plans to do that in the next 2 years, right?
Yep.
All right. Yep, exactly. So anyway, I thought today we'd finally spoil my good mood by talking about the elephant in the room with what's been going on with our country. Ha ha ha. Yeah. It's not doing the best these days, is it? So, I was watching Tucker Carlson tonight, which you may or may not like me for. But anyway, I was watching him, and he was talking about how all these rioters, which have been, going all around America recently in all the major American cities, how they are all extremely unskilled. Now, he did not elaborate on that, so I would like to. But before we do that, here come the mandatory prefaces, all right? Here we go. First of all, killing of George Floyd. Horrible. Absolutely disgusting. Those officers should be prosecuted, charged with murder and manslaughter. All right? Secondly, there have been a lot of peaceful protesters. I'm aware of that. We're not talking about them today, and I'm not comparing them to the rioters. All right? You got that? Moving on. These rioters are they're not, let's be honest right now, they're not doing this because of what happened to George Floyd or anyone else. They're doing this because they can, because the politicians are so weak that they can go around looting and, not get in trouble for it, not be arrested or prosecuted for it, and that's resulted in many, many more murders, which is, of course, horrible. So anyway, back to this. These people, I view the riots as a symptom of America's decline, which is, of course, in my opinion, being fueled by the school system. Now let me explain this why. Because the school system exists to subjugate, humiliate, and stifle people. Stifle intellectual development, stifle character development, stifle creativity, stifle individuality, get kids away from their parents, break up the nuclear family. This is how they were designed. And I can back that up with facts, obviously. We've done several episodes on that.
It's a very strict system. You go to one class, then to another, and you do this assignment and that assignment.
But here's the thing. What many people don't realize is that this was always how it was meant to be. It was intended to be this way by many psychologists and philosophers who had studied each other, and they knew how to induce things like dyslexia and reading disorders. They knew how to subjugate people. So I'd like to talk about today what happened in basically the early 1900s, where schooling was transformed from already bad places. They were never good. Public schools have never been good. By the American people have never actually wanted public schools. They were never clamoring for it. They were never liked it. We still don't like it. Ask most Americans, they know there's huge problems with the public school system. They just they just know it in their gut. They just know it. They instinctively know it. There's huge problems with it. So we were never clamoring for it, and they were designed in the 1900s. They were socially engineered in order to produce just this kind of outcome, just this kind of rioting, where you have an underclass which is so angry that they'll do anything.
Now, that doesn't mean that there aren't teachers who want to help students or principals who want to help students, but this whole system was designed to not help students.
Thank you for bringing that up. Because there are a lot of good teachers. I've had some of them. You've had some of them, right?
I have.
I mean, believe me, I would never attack, I'm not going to attack teachers. Most teachers are very good people. They have good intentions. Some aren't, but vast majority are. They have good intentions. They want to do good. They're probably pretty idealistic, but that's okay. I guess we are kind of too. So anyway, so if you go back to a man named Henry Goddard, he was the one that was behind all of this special education, the eugenics part of schooling, where you're subjugating everybody, where you're turning most of America into an underclass. That was his whole project. A guy named Henry Goddard. He was chairman of psychology at I can't remember. I can't remember what university, but it might have been Pennsylvania State University. He was chairman of psychology there. And he did all sorts of work with people like James McKean Cattell, who we've talked about. He was part of Dewey's little squad of people who wanted to get rid of phonics and introduce eugenics into school. So Goddard worked to make sure that special education was implemented so that kids could be humiliated. Kids could be humiliated with little stars or with lack thereof emotional dependency. Kids could be turned into his little weapons. This was his mission because he believed in eugenics. He believed in the eugenics where you can have where you have an underclass and then you have an elite. That was his whole belief. Henry Goddard, he's a very important man. We have not talked about him yet. I wanted to talk about him a bit today because he was the architect of all this special education and all the humiliation that happens in school. Where the mission is to stop those people from reproducing. That's the mission. To cut off what he would consider to be stupid people. That was the mission of the eugenicists. And of course, it's sickening stuff. It really is. It's horrific. And I think I view these riots. This is my perspective on the riots, is that they are a symptom of this, of 100 years of social engineering. And they had all studied Pavlov. Now, if you don't know who Pavlov was, he's the one that's famous for doing those experiments on dogs where you condition them to you ring a bell and then they get food and the dogs will salivate as soon as they get the bell before they bring the food in. That was Pavlov's whole thing. But what we don't talk about is how he did a study in the 1920s in the Soviet Union. Pavlov, one of the most famous psychologists ever, he did a study on how to literally make people go insane. And this was studied by the top psychologists in America like Henry Goddard. He did studies on how to make people literally go insane, which is being implemented in our school system, which is why it feels like all of America has gone insane. I mean, does it not feel like America has completely gone insane? I mean, Producer Brooke, really.
I mean, yeah, it seems like America has gone insane.
It really does. And I view this, that's my perspective, that's my angle on all this, is that this is a symptom of a huge 100-year problem, and it's by no fault, these people that are rioting. I get it. It's bad what they're doing, but it's it's almost not even their fault. They've been conditioned over a 100-year cycle to be an underclass. And the purpose of this obviously isn't happening because, I mean, we're still reproducing, so that obviously it hasn't worked. The mission has not worked. The special education mission has not worked. But of course, it's it's still here because so few people know its true intentions. Anyway, that's that. I thought that was an interesting angle I had on it. I had not heard anyone bring that up yet because I don't know. We're all so superficial in the media, and like I said, I was listening to Tucker Carlson. He said these people have no skills. He did not elaborate on that, but of course, the purpose of school is to make sure you have no skills. It's to make sure you're going to be dumbed down for the rest of your life. Let me just give one example: math class. And I'd like to go into this a little bit. So here's the thing with math class, right? First few grades of school, Producer Brooke. First few grades of school, you gotta learn your multiplication tables. You gotta know addition and subtraction. You just have to know those things, right?
You have to know arithmetic and a little bit beyond that.
Yes, that's correct. But here's the problem with the way school does it. So let me ask you this: what is the most common expression about math and science? Well, math is the language of science, right, Producer Brooke? Math is the language of science.
Yep.
Have you ever heard someone say that in school?
Nope.
Neither have I. Shocking.
I mean, there's plenty of kids who like science who hate math.
Right. So the way we teach math in school, after we get through arithmetic, the way we teach algebra and geometry and all that, and calculus, everything, is to make it completely divorced from science class. To make it seem like it's all artificial and superficial. Make it seem like it doesn't matter. How many times have you heard? I've heard multiple times. I've heard a kid ask, "Why are we doing this?" They actually want to know why this will be useful. Why knowing how to find pi is going to be useful. I have never heard a teacher give a real answer. Because the poor teacher doesn't know why. They never told the teacher why in college. The teacher has no idea why they're doing this. That's why I feel bad for most teachers. They have really good intentions, but they can't. They're in a situation where it's very difficult for them to do anything good. So what we do is, and this is all intentional, of course, just like with the reading thing, what we do is we separate math from anything else, from all the other subjects, from biology, from science, from whatever. We separate it from it and make it so we can never apply it to real lives. You see, we get all these word problems, right? I have never, and I mean never, had a word problem, and I've done a lot of them in school, obviously. I've never had a word problem where I think, okay, this could be applicable to real life. Have you, Producer Brooke? Have you had many?
Nope. John never buys 86 watermelons in real life.
Right. I mean, come on. It's crazy. The stupid word problems make no sense in real life. So it's completely divorced from reality math class, which is why so many kids hate it. And that's just one of the reasons we have an underclass. Same with the reading thing, where we have a whole language instead of intensive phonics, which has been used for the last 3,000 years. But no, we have to switch over to whole language because it's new or something like that. And English is totally like Chinese, you're just a bunch of characters, like 3,000 characters you got to know. That's it, right? That's all there is to it. We are teaching English in schools like it is Chinese, and thankfully this has been improving. Phonics has been making kind of a comeback the last couple decades, but it's still not anywhere near what it should be, because now it's called balanced literacy, where we do like 20% phonics and 80% whole language. So it's still not working. We still have tens of millions of American adults who are illiterate, and many more who are marginally literate, which again, the underclass. This is horrible what's happening in the cities. The underclass has been created through social engineering. I know this sounds crazy, but please think about what I'm saying. I'll provide some sources in the description if you want to check them out on Pavlov and Goddard and so on. Please do check them out. I believe you will really learn a lot, because these were not good people. These were people who wanted their utopia, no matter what. Their 500-year-old utopia. They wanted to transform America and the rest of the world to a complete communist utopia. And this goes back several hundred years as well to Thomas More's 1516 book called Utopia, and even further back perhaps to Plato's Republic. But these were not good people. These were people who wanted to transform America by making an underclass and an elite. And this was continued, and they basically admitted this openly until the 1960s and 70s with the where you had the behavioral teacher education study feasibility thing. I don't entirely remember what it's called. It was put together by the University of Michigan. And it's all part of where we're going to have a huge underclass and a small elite. And then there was Benjamin Bloom in the 1950s and 60s as well. Outcome-based education. Outcome-based education where the government plans your life for you. The government wants to plan your life for you. That's the key to public schooling these days. Outcome-based education. We have, again, creating the underclass. The underclass has been created over 100 years. And this is just a symptom of these recent riots, which are, obviously horrible, but I almost feel I almost can't blame these people, because they've been so conditioned and so controlled through no fault of their own to be in this exact situation, to be the revolutionaries, to be the new communists. This is what public school is doing to America. This is exactly what public school is doing to America. And it has to be stopped. It absolutely must be stopped. Public school must be stopped in its form today. And I hope we'll take the first steps to that quite soon. Alright, I think that's a wrap for today. A little shorter than usual, but hey, that's okay. So, if you have any questions, you can email me down below, jbsocial@gmail.com. Please do subscribe and leave a like. You can comment, watch some of our other videos, and click the bell button, because it's, notifications are fun, right? You get the little thing, and it's very addictive to tap on. So, anyway, until next time, I've been your host, JB.
I'm producer Brooke.
And we are signing off.